Right. Let's see where we are. Wow. So many messages in one day. I must be popular. Okay, so let's see if this works. Let's try and send the link out. There we go. Okay, and just test to make sure we are online on Facebook. Give me a second. Yes, we are online. Fantastical. Okay. Getting ready to go. We are also, I'm still in New Taliban, our farm community in Mississippi. And so we're going to chant a little first. Now, you'll have to excuse me if the sound quality is not so good. We're not set up with such good microphones here. But you will have to tolerate. I don't think you have a choice. Jeev Jago, Gorachanda Bore, Kota Nidra, Yaho Maya, Pisa Chira, Kote, Bajivo, Badhiya Se, Samsara Vitare, Unira, Prabhili Kume, Abhijara Bhave, Tomare Vaite Ame, Moinu Avatara, Amilina Bandhara, Chetumara, Enechayach, Shoti Maya, Nashibaraki, Haninamama, Mantra, Lao to me Magi, Vakati. Sharane Poriya Seyari Nama Pamantra Loilo Magiya Jijago Gorachana Bore Kotane Duryamaya Pisachira Kole Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Nitya Gaur, Hare Bo, Prabhu, Man Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahamsa Paravitakacharya Olsuteta Satashi Shimad. His Divine Grace Sapaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Ganadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopana Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuradam Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Lassi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha, Shunyavadi Paschatya Jayatarni. So, nice to see everybody here. We're going to continue today with our study of the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. Tomorrow we'll be speaking about Advaita Acharya, whose appearance day it is. Very interesting. And the next day after that is, I believe it's Madhvacharya's appearance. Let's see, let me look at my calendario. So, yes, it's Bhishma, sorry. Tuesday is Bhishma's appearance, Wednesday is Madhvacharya's appearance, and Thursday is Ramanujacharya's appearance. That's pretty amazing, pretty wonderful. Okay, so now let us continue. So, Megana Timiranda Shah Garanjana Shalakaya Chakshud Gun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So, we're studying from the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, chapter 23, and we're talking about, what are we talking about? That's interesting. We're talking about life's ultimate goal, which is pure love of God. And this is in the context of a discussion that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is having with with Sanatana Goswami in Benares. So life's ultimate goal, Krishna Prema. And we're hearing about all the different bhavas and emotions. It's quite an interesting chapter. So let's continue. So, Jaya Jaya, Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya, Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya, Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, here we go. Text 68 in chapter 23 of the Madhya Lila of Sri Chaitanya Chaitanya Caritamrta. And Devi Krishna Mai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. The Transcendental Goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attraction to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She's the primeval internal potency of the Lord. Wow. So much there. So we saw a direct counterpart. So sometimes when we're talking to people, we explain to people that we have a complete conception of the absolute truth, because the absolute truth cannot be simply male and cannot be simply female. So the absolute truth has male aspect and a female counterpart, and the female counterpart is Srimati Radharani, and Radharani is the original potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She attracts Krishna and controls Krishna, and all other potencies are expansion Shaktis, that is, they're expansions of Srimati Radharani. This text is found in the Brihad Gautamya Tantra. For an explanation, see Adi Lila, 4th chapter, text 83 to 95. Or is that 93? 95, that's right. Ananta Krishna Raguna Koshati Pradana Eka Eka Guna Shuni Judaya Bhakta Kana. The transcendental qualities of the Lord Krishna are unlimited. Out of these, 64 are considered prominent. The ears of the devotees are satisfied simply by hearing all these qualities one after another. Ayam neta suram yanga sarvasa lakshanan vitaha ruchiras tejasa yukto maliyan vayasan vitaha. Krishna, the supreme hero, has the most beautiful transcendental body. This body possesses all good features. It is radiant and very pleasing to the eyes. His body is powerful, strong, and youthful. And of course, Krishna is not different from his body. He is a body made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. This verse and the following 6 verses are also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:1, 23 to 29. Vividad Bhuta Vashavet Sacha Vakya Priyang Vadaha Vavadhuka Supandityo Uriman Pratiban Vitaha. Krishna is the linguist of all wonderful languages. In other words, he knows all languages, even the languages of the animals, the birds, and the beasts. He is truthful and very pleasing speaker. He is expert in speaking, and he is a very wise, learned scholar and genius. In other words, Krishna has all qualities: most intelligent, most famous, most renowned, most strong, etc. Most beautiful. Vidagnas chaturo daksha kritagya sudrida vrataha desha kala Supatrakya Shastra Chakshu Shuchir Vashi. Krishna is very expert in artistic enjoyment. He is highly cunning, expert, grateful, and firmly determined in his vows. He knows how to deal according to time, person, and country, and he sees through the scriptures and authoritative books. He is very clean and self-controlled. So these are different qualities of Krishna that are being described. Stiro dantakshamaakshilo gambiro dhritimang shamaha. Let me disconnect that. Vadanyo dharmika sura. People have to call in the middle of class. Viro dhritimang shama. Vadanyo dharmika sura. Karuno manyamana krits. Lord Krishna is steady. His senses are controlled, and he is forgiving, grave, and calm. He is also equal to all. Moreover, he is magnanimous, religious, chivalrous, and kind. He is always respectful to respectable people. So hopefully he's respectable. Well, to people not respectable, he reciprocates with them in a particular way. Dakshino Vinay Vriman Sarangata Palakaha Sukhi Bhakta Surit Prema Vasha Sarva Shubhang Karaha. Krishna is very simple and liberal. He is humble and bashful. He is the protector of the surrendered souls. He is very happy, and he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. He is all auspicious, and he is submissive to love. So when you hear these qualities of Krishna, don't they attract you? Wouldn't you like to be with someone who is like this? So you can, by chanting his holy names, you can be with Krishna 24 hours a day. When you say Krishna, Krishna is there. That's cool. You could have a friend, and that's one of the things that attracted me to Krishna consciousness in the beginning, was that I realized I could always have my best friend with me. Who was my best friend? Krishna says, he's your best friend. Bhoktaram Jakatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatwamam Shanti Mrichati. Patapi Kirtibam Rakta Lokasadu Samasrayaha Nari Gana Manohari Sarvavradya Samriddhiman. Krishna is very influential and famous, and he is the object of attachment for everyone. He is the shelter of the good and the virtuous. He is attractive to the minds of women, and he is worshipped by everyone, and he is very, very rich. That's definitely attractive. Varyanishwaras cheti gunastashanu kirtitaha samudra iva panchashad durvigaha harerami. Krishna is the supreme, and he is always glorified as the supreme Lord and controller. Thus, all the previously mentioned transcendental qualities are in him. The 50 qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead mentioned above are as deep as an ocean. In other words, they are difficult to fully comprehend. So, Jiveshvite Vasantopi Bindu Bindu Taya Kvachit Paripurna Tuya Bhanti Tathaiva Purushottame. These qualities are sometimes very minutely exhibited by living beings, but they are fully manifested in the Supreme Personality of God. In other words, we are parts and parcel of Krishna, so in our pure state, we can manifest these qualities to a limited degree. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.130. Living entities are parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is what I said, as Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamivangsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manachakstani indriyani prakritistani karshati. The living entities in this conditional world, that's us, buddy, are my eternal fragmental parts due to conditioned life. They are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind, and that describes us very well. The qualities of Krishna are present in the living entity in minute atomic quantities. A small portion of gold is certainly gold, but it cannot be equal to a gold mine. Similarly, the living entities have all the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in minute quantity, but the living entity is never equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is therefore described as the Supreme Being, and the living entity is described as Jiva, that means small. God is described as the Supreme Being, the chief of all living beings, because he is supplying the necessities of all others, eko bohnam yovadadati kamam. The Mayavadis maintain that everyone is God, but even if this philosophy is accepted, no one can maintain that everyone is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every respect. Only unintelligent men maintain that everyone is equal to God, or is that everyone is God. Only stupid people say this. You have to be really stupid to say that everyone is equal to God and everyone is God. Ata pancha guna yeshuram shena girishadishu. Apart from these 50 qualities, there are 5 other qualities found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that are partially present in demigods like Shiva. This verse and the following 7 verses are also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:137-44. Sarasvarupa samprapta sarvagyo nityanutanaha Satchidananda Sangranga Sarvasiddhi Nishevitaha Atochante Guna Panchaye Lakshmi Shadivartinaha Avichincha Mahashakti Koti Brahmana Vigraha Avatara Valevijam Atmarama Ganakarshati Ami Krishna Kilad Buddha. Right. Some more qualities. These qualities are: 1, the Lord is always situated in his original position. 2, he's omniscient. He's always fresh and youthful. 4, he is the concentrated form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And 5, he is the possessor of all mystic perfection. There are another 5 qualities which exist in the Vaikuntha planets in Narayan, the Lord of Lakshmi. These qualities are not present in, these qualities are also present in Krishna, but they are not present in demigods like Lord Shiva or in other living entities. These are: 1, the Lord possesses inconceivable supreme power. 2, he generates innumerable universes from his body. 3, he is the original source of all incarnations. 4, he bestows salvation upon enemies he kills. And 5, he has the ability to attract exalted persons who are satisfied in themselves. Although these qualities are present in Narayana, the dominating deity of the Vaikuntha planets, they are even more wonderfully present in Krishna. So now we're going to hear about Krishna's qualities. Sarvadbhuta chamatkara lila kalola varidiki atulya madhura prema mandita priya mandalaha Tri Jagan Manasakarshi Purali Kalakunjitaha Asamanordva Rupashrir Vishma Pitta Characharaha. Apart from these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has an additional 4 transcendental qualities which are not manifested even in the personality of Narayan. Well, let's hear about these. These are: Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone in the 3 worlds. And Krishna has pastimes in which he forgets he's God. These are pastimes. 2, in his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him. So the gopis. 3, he attracts the minds of the 3 worlds with a melodious vibration of his flute. And 4, his personal beauty and opulence are beyond compare. No one is equal to him, and no one is greater than him. Thus, the personality of Godhead astonishes all living entities, both moving and non-moving, within the 3 worlds. He is so beautiful that he is called Krishna. So, the reason he's called Krishna is because that's his name. But the word Krish means to attract. And Na means 2 different things. Na means basically... I have the wrong thing down there. Hold on a second. I wanted to put this there so I could see. So Na means 2 things. It's short for Ananda, and it's also short for negating the miseries of the material world. So 2 things. Krishna attracts you, negates the miseries of the material world, and gives you unlimited bliss. Therefore, the word Krishna means all attractive. Wow, pretty cool. So sometimes we have a discussion with people, and people say, from different religious backgrounds, they say, I don't believe that Krishna is God. And I said, well, the word Krishna is not a denominational word. It's not a sectarian word. It simply means God is beautiful. That's all. It's a Sanskrit word for, hey, God's beautiful. And I said, you don't think God's beautiful, Prabhu? Or not Prabhu, my dear religious person. And they say, do you think God is ugly? And they say, no, God is beautiful. Therefore, he's Krishna. Mayavadi philosophers who have a poor fund of knowledge simply dismiss the subject by explaining that Krishna means black. Not understanding the qualities of Krishna, these atheistic rascals, probably loves that word, rascal, do not accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the Lord is described and accepted by great personalities, acharyas and sages, the Mayavadis still do not appreciate him. Unfortunately, at the present moment, human society is so degraded that people cannot even provide themselves with life's daily necessities. Yet they are captivated by Mayavadi philosophers and are being misled. According to the Bhagavad Gita, simply by understanding Krishna, one can get free from the cycle of birth and death. Chaktva deham punarjanma naitim hameti sorjana. And that verse says, if one gives up his body, if one is a devotee, then he does not take birth again, O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Unfortunately, this great science of Krishna consciousness has been impeded by Mayavadi philosophers who are opposed to the personality of Krishna. Those who are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement must try to understand Krishna from the statements given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion. Lila premna priyadikam madhuryam venurupayaho ichasadharanam broktam govindasya chatushtayam evam gunashchaturvedash chatushastir udaritaha. Above Narayan, Krishna has 4 specific transcendental qualities. The same list we just heard about, but it's spoken a little different way. His wonderful pastimes, amazing pastimes. Pastimes mean that he forgets that he's God and he just acts like an ordinary person. An abundance of wonderful associates who are very dear to him, like the gopis, intimate associates. His wonderful beauty unexcelled, and the wonderful vibration of his flute. Lord Krishna is more exalted than ordinary living beings, and demigods like Lord Shiva is even more exalted than his personal expansion, Narayana, and all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has 64 transcendental qualities in full. Anantaguna Shri Radhikara Panchisha Pradhana Ye Gunera Vasahaya Krishna Bhagavan. Similarly, Srimati Radharani has unlimited transcendental qualities, of which 25 are principal. Sri Krishna is controlled by these transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. Ooh. Text 87 to 91. Now we're going to hear about Radharani. Atha Vrindavaneshvarya Kirtyante Pravaragunaha Madhureyam Navavayash Chalapango Jwalasmita Charuso Bhagya Rikadya Gandhon Madita Madhava Sangita Rarashara Vidya Ramyavan Narma Pandita Vinita Karuna Purna Vidagda Patavan Vita Lajashila Sumaryada Darya Gampirya Shalini Suvilasa Mahabhava Paramokarsha Tarshini Gokula Prema Vasatir Jagatstreni Lasadnya Shaha Gurvarpita Guru Sneha Saki Pranayata Vasha Krishna Priya Vale Mukhya Santata Shravakeshava Pahuna Kim Gunastasya Sankyatita Hareriva. Srimati Radharani's 25 Chief transcendental qualities are: 1, she is very sweet; 2, she is always freshly youthful; 3, her eyes are restless; 4, she smiles brightly; 5, she has beautiful auspicious lines; 6, she makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma; 7, she is very expert in singing; 8, her speech is charming; 9, she is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly; 10, she is very humble and meek; 11, she is always full of mercy; 12, she is cunning; 13, she is expert in executing her duties; 14, she is shy; 15, she is always respectful; 16, she is always calm; 17, she is always grave; 18, she is expert in enjoying life; 19, she is situated at the topmost level of ecstatic love; 20, she is the reservoir of loving affairs in Gokula; 21, she is the most famous of submissive devotees; 22, she is very affectionate to elderly persons; 23, she is very submissive to the love of her friends; 24, she is the chief gopi; and 25, she always keeps Krishna under her control, wrapped around her little finger. In short, she possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, just as Lord Krishna does. These verses are found in the Ujjvala Nilamani, Shri Radha Prakarana 11 to 15, text 92. Nayaka Nayaka Dvirasera Lambana Se Dvishreshta Radha Vrajendranandana. The basis of all transcendental mellows is the hero and heroine, and Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, are the best. Wow. E matadasheda sasakye sakagana patsalye matapita ashayalambana. Just as Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani are the object and shelter of the mellow of conjugal love, respectively, so in the mellow of servitorship, Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, is the object, and servants like Chitraka, Rataka, and Panchaka are the shelter. Similarly, in the transcendental mellow of friendship, Lord Krishna is the object, and friends like Sri Rama, Sudama, and Subala are the shelter. In the transcendental mellow of parental affection, Krishna is the object, and Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are the shelter. So you got these two words. Let me explain. Ashraya and Vishaya. So the devotee is the ashraya of the devotion, and the Vishaya, or the enjoyer, or the object of devotion, is Krishna. That's really easy to understand. Krishna is always not always, but sometimes, most of the time, always the object of devotion, and the devotee is the shelter of devotion. The devotee has devotion for Krishna. Hey rasa anubhava yache bhakta gana yache rasa haya shunatahara lakshana. Now here, how the mellows appear and how they are realized by the devotees on different transcendental platforms is so interesting. Bhakti nirduta doshanam prasano jwala chetasam Shri Bhagavata raktanam rasikang sangha ranginam jivani bhuta govinda padavakti sukashriyam premataranga bhutani Krityan Shivanutishtatam Bhaktadam Radisa Rajanti Samskara Yugalo Jvala Ratirananda Rupaiva Niyamana Turasyatam Krishnadivir Vibhavadhyaya Gataya Anubhavadvani Prodhanandash Chamatkarab Kashtam Apadyate param. Okay. For those who are completely washed of all material contamination by pure devotional service, and who are always satisfied and brightly enlightened in the heart, who are always attached to understanding the transcendental meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, who are always eager to associate with advanced devotees, whose happiness is in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda in their very life, who always discharge the confidential activities of love. For such advanced devotees who are by nature situated in bliss, the seed of love, rati, is expanded in the heart by previous and current reformatory processes. Thus the mixture of ecstatic ingredients becomes tasty, and being within the perception of the devotee reaches the highest platform of wonder and deep bliss. Wow. These verses are found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:1, 7-10. E rasa svada nahi abhaktiragane Krishna bhaktagana kari rasa svadane. The exchange between Krishna and different devotees situated in different transcendental mellows is not to be experienced by non-devotees. Advanced devotees can understand and appreciate the different varieties of devotional service reciprocated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Takes the 100. Sarvataiva dururhoyam abhakta raghavat rasaha tatpadambuja sarvashrar bhakta revanurasyate. Non-devotees cannot understand the exchange of transcendental mellows between the devotees and the Lord. In all respects, this is very difficult to understand, but one who has dedicated everything to the lotus feet of Krishna can taste the transcendental mellows. This verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5, 131. Sangshepi kahilune prayojana vivarana panchama purusharta e Krishna prema dhana. Sounds like we're getting to the end of the chapter. This brief description is an elaboration of the ultimate goal of life. Indeed, this is the fifth and ultimate goal, which is beyond the platform of liberation. It is called Krishna Prema Dhana, the wealth of love of Krishna, the treasure of love for Krishna, which is the same thing. So the five or the four other goals of life are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. I'll explain what that means. Dharma means mundane religiosity, being a very religious, mundane person. Artha means economic development. That's a big goal for everybody. Money, money, money. And then Kama means lust or enjoying something in this world. And Moksha means you get really frustrated and you want liberation from this material world, or you see all the miseries in this material world. So, Purva Prayage Ahamirasera Vichare Homarabhaya Rupe Kailun Shakti Sanchare. Previously, I empowered your brother Rupa Goswami to understand these mellows. I did this while instructing him at the Dashas Vameda Gata in Prayag. Tumiha Kariya Bhakti Shastraya Pachara Maturaya Lupta Titera Kariha Udara. O Sanatan, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Mathura. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mission. Nana Shastra Vicharanagyanipano Sadharma Samstapako. What does that mean? That the Goswamis were given the mission of examining all the different shastras or scriptures and coming up with Nana Shastra Vicharanagyanipano Sadharma Samstapako, coming up with the eternal religious principles, and also establishing temples in different places in Vrindavan and excavating the holy places like Radhakund, Shaimakund, and all the other places. Vrindavane Krishna Seva Vaishnava Chara Bhakti Smriti Shastra Kariha Prachara. Establish devotional service to Lord Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. You should also compile bhakti scriptures and preach the bhakti cult from Vrindavan. So Sanatana Goswami was enjoined, 1, to broadcast the revealed scriptures and devotional service and establish the conclusions of devotional service. 2, reestablish the lost places of pilgrimage like Vrindavan and Radhakund. 3, to establish the Vrindavan method of temple worship and install deities in temples. Sanatana Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple and Rupa Goswami established the Govindaji temple. And 4, to enunciate the behavior of a Vaishnava as Srila Sanatana Goswami did in Hari Bhakti Vilas. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was empowered to establish the cult of Vaishnavism as stated by Srinivasa Acharya in the Sad Goswami Ashtaka, number 2. Actually, this is the one I just chanted. See how much I'm in tune with everyone? Anana Shastra Vicharanaka Nipano Sadharma Samstapako Lokanapita Karano Tribhuvane Manyo Shuranyakoro Radhakrishna Vedada Vinda Bhajanan Nandena Mataliko Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Sri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances under the six Goswamis, namely Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. This Krishna consciousness movement continues the tradition of the six Goswamis, especially Srila Sanatana Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami. Serious students of this Krishna conscious movement must understand their great responsibility to preach the cult of Vrindavan, devotional service to the Lord, all over the world. We now have a nice temple in Vrindavan, and serious students should take advantage of it. I am very hopeful that some of our students can take up this responsibility and render the best service to humanity by educating people in Krishna consciousness. All right? Yukta Vairagya Sthiti Sabha Shikaila Shushka Vairagya Jnana Sabha Nishedila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Sanatana Goswami about proper renunciation according to a particular situation, and the Lord forbade dry renunciation and speculative knowledge in all respects. So what is proper renunciation? Accepting everything favorable for Krishna service and giving up everything unfavorable. So maybe favorable to be opulent. This is a technique for understanding Shushka Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya. Shushka Vairagya means false renunciation. In the Bhagavad Gita 6:17, it says, Yukta Hara Viharasya, Yukta Chetasa Karmasa, Yukta Swapna Vabodasya, Yoga Bhavati Dukkha. So this is like the middle path that they teach about in Buddhism. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. To broadcast the cult of Krishna consciousness, one has to learn the possibility of renunciation in terms of country, time, and candidate. A candidate for Krishna consciousness in the Western countries should be taught about the renunciation of material existence, but one should teach candidates from a country like India in a different way. The teacher Acharya has to consider time, candidate, and country. He must avoid the principle of niyamagraha, that is, he should not try to perform the impossible. What is possible in one country may not be possible in another. The Acharya's duty is to accept the essence of devotional service. There may be a little change here and there as far as Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation, is concerned. Dry renunciation is forbidden by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have also learned this from our spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj. The essence of devotional service must be taken into consideration and not the outward paraphernalia. Wow, that's a powerful verse. I'm going to copy that later. Sanatana Goswami wrote in his Vaishnava Smriti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was specifically meant for India. In those days, India was more or less following the principles of Smarta Vidhi. Srila Sanatana Goswami had to keep pace with this, and his Hari Bhakti Vilas was compiled with this in mind. According to Smarta Brahmanas, a person not born in a Brahmin family could not be elevated to the position of a Brahmin. Sanatana Goswami, however, says in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that anyone can be elevated to the position of a Brahmin by the process of initiation. Which is really popular today. Yata kanchanatham yatikam sham rasaviranataka tata dikshividanena dvishatam jayate nrinam. As bell metal is turned to gold when mixed with mercury in an alchemical process, so one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately becomes a Brahmana. There's a difference between the Smarta process and the Goswami process. According to the Smarta process, Smarta means like ritualistic process. One cannot be accepted as a Brahmin unless he's born in the Brahmin family. According to the Goswami process, the Hari Bhakti Vilas and the Narada Pancharatra, anyone can be a Brahmin if he is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. This is also the verdict of Shukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4. 18. Karatahundra Purindra Purgasha Abhirashumba Yavanat Kashadayaha Yenicha Yenecha Papa Yad Apashraya Shreyaha Suyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha. Karatas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abiras, Shumbals, Yavanas, and members of the Kasha races, even others who are addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, like Prabhupada, due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. A Vaishnava is immediately purified provided he follows the rules and regulations of his bona fide spiritual master. It is not necessary that the rules and regulations followed in India be exactly the same as those in Europe, America, and the other Western countries. Simply imitating without effect is called niyamagraha. Not following the regulative principles, but instead of living extravagantly, excuse me, is also called niyamagraha, pronounced a little differently. The word niyama means regulative principles, and agraha means eagerness. The word agraha means not to accept. We should not follow regulative principles without an effect, nor should we fail to accept the regulative principles. What is required is a special technique according to country, time, and candidate. Without the sanction of the spiritual master, we should not try to imitate. This principle is recommended here. Shushka Vairagya Jnana Sabe Nishedila. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's liberal demonstration of the bhakti cult. We should not introduce anything whimsically without the sanction of the bona fide spiritual master. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on these points by quoting two verses by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2, 255 to 256. Almost finished. Anashaktasya Vishyanyathara Mupiyunjata Nirbandas Krishna Sambandha Yuktabhadragyam Uchate Prapanchakataya Budya Hari Sambandhi Vashtuna Mumukshavi Purityago Vairagyam Falgu Katyate. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. To preach the one should seriously consider these verses. Let's see how big the purport is in the next one, because I'm time bound right now. Okay. Purport of the next one is quite lengthy, as yet important. First, so we went up to text 105 today, and tomorrow is a Great Char's appearance day. So we'll continue next time we do the Caitanya Caritamrta. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I want to keep the questions and answers a little short because I have not done my exercise today and it's getting dark. So that's important for me to keep myself alive for a little while longer. I mean, I think that's pretty important because, anyway, at least for me. So, so I think Padam has a question. So why don't you unmute yourself and ask your question? Should be able to. Oh, there we go. Good to see you.
Driving.
Question.
My obeisances to my Guru Mahadev. My question is, like, my wife is, she loves to dance. But when we go to the, like in outside, like Harinam, she dancing on there, and in the home, she dancing the holy songs and that sort of things. But like she does the exercise, and sometimes she dances on non-devotional songs. Is that acceptable or not, Gurudev?
Well, if she's exercising and she's getting ready, I don't think we should impose, let's say, a very strict standard. I think automatically, the more one dances to devotional songs, the more one will lose their taste. And let it happen naturally, not artificially and not imposed. So I'm not going to pass judgment on that. All right.
Yeah, because
Is she in the car?
I
Is she in the
just
car with
removed
you right now?
because she's in home, I was in job, so I'm just only logging for 15-20 minutes. And then I say, try to be more on the devotional songs.
Just leave her alone. Don't force. She will naturally do more devotional songs. The more you try to tell her to stop doing something, the more she's going to want to do it. In the interactions between husband and wife, the more the wife or the husband tells the other one to do something or not to do something, they'll do the opposite. You've probably experienced that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gurudev. One more thing I wanna ask. I wanna we just doing the donations for the blind people for the operation and this and that. And
Yeah.
then my wife say, okay, that's good to donate the peoples because they can't see, they are blind. Doesn't matter how much we can donate them. So it's better to maybe they can see the beautiful world and they can do that. What's gonna happen? If some of them people do some bad karma, so is that reflect to us or not?
Let me answer that indirectly. It's better. It's better to help people who are going to serve Krishna. Let's just say that, rather than to be implicated in mundane charity.
Yep.
I don't want to get too much into your conflicts at home right now. I got to be careful. Like Krishna says, don't discourage people who are detached, but encourage people to work in the spirit of devotion. Krishna says that in the Gita. So be really careful, because I used to be really heavy with people and it had the opposite effect. Okay? That's an interesting question. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Hopefully, if we can get to Australia. So, next is Vijay Radhika. You unmuted yourself. I think you must have a question. Yes? No? I guess not.
Gurudev, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you now. So, what's the question?
I didn't have a question. I accidentally
Oh,
unmuted.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. No problem. I'll mute you again. You're muted. So, who else has a question? Otherwise, I'd like to end early because it's still light out and I haven't exercised. I've been at meetings all day long. Like we had 8 or 10 hours of meetings today, and I definitely need to unwind and exercise. So, anyway, on that basis, I'm asking you all for some compassion so we can end early today. And thank you for your compassion, even though you may not want to give your compassion. So we're gonna end right now. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody tomorrow, same time, same station for a